Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pole on the Call podcast. My name is Mændy Mac,
And I am Cris Rivers.
and today we are so excited to be here with the amazing pole coach, Lucia, owner of the Bar Studio and Apolethecary. I did
Hi.
all that right.
Yes,
Yeah,
you got it right. You got it right.
thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. Of course. It's my pleasure. This is my first podcast ever. So
Yeah.
Yay!
first one ever. So it's really, really exciting.
Oh, thank you for being here with us on your first one ever, but it won't be your last one.
No, I
Yeah.
hope not.
Right, and also congratulations. It's your anniversary of your studio as well,
Yes.
correct?
Yesterday was our 1-year anniversary. And I was lucky to be the instructor up that day to teach the classes. So after classes, we popped some champagne and we had some munchkins. Simple, but a little birthday celebration. And whenever things like that happen, I love to theme my lesson plan. So it's things that we've all seen before, but you just rename them because the shape is reminiscent of something. So I taught them like a shoulder stand, leg straight up. That's a candlestick. So I was like, candle. And I said, blow your candles out, open a straddle, drop it out into a straddle, things like that.
Aw.
Yeah. So I did that through the whole class. It makes it more fun and gets everyone involved. So
That's
And-
cute.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that accomplishment and being open for a year and having awesome programming like that too.
Thank you. It went by so fast.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, before we get into your studio, let's start at the beginning of your personal pole journey. Can you let us know what got you into pole dancing?
Yeah, so I first moved out to the area. So for those of you who don't know, my studio is in Bellingham. My personal address is in Milford, Massachusetts. I first moved out this way after college for a job. So I was living in Mansfield and I was out here by myself. I had an apartment and it was just work and come home and all that. And when you change your address, you get that big packet from the post office with all these coupons and stuff in it. Well, I had a coupon in there for Love Pole Fitness, which is another local studio around me. It's a sister studio. And I looked at that coupon and I was like, I really want to do this. But I was like, I don't have a dance background. I am not strong. Like I go to work and then I sit on the couch and eat like crap food. Like like how can I walk in this store? And I tried to get friends to go with me, and I couldn't get anyone to come with me. And I watched the coupon expire. And when it expired, I was really like, it wasn't like, oh man, that's expired. No, I was like, oh. So I was like, that tells me something, that I had an emotional reaction to the fact that I didn't do this. So I just got brave one day. I walked through the door and made a fool of myself and laughed the entire time and white knuckled my steering wheel all the way home because my biceps could not handle controlling my car after that class. And that was the start of it. That was back in 2014. And I was with Love Pole Fitness all the way up until last year when the opportunity presented itself to open the bar. So yeah, shout out LPF and Tobin, the owner of LPF. Yep. And they are still local. They are in Millis. So we're about 25-30 minutes away from each other. So.
Yes, I love that. And if you want to get to know more about Tobin, check out her episode too. Always connected in the pole community.
Always.
That is so 10 years you've been in the business. That's
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say my dedication is I'm not one of the super committed, like I'm going to train 3 hours a day. I'm going to get in there every single day. But I've always had a touch point, I've never fully removed myself. I've always either been a spectator or been like, I'm just gonna come for the intro class and just see my people. And yeah, so I'm prefacing this because I feel like at some point you're going to ask me what my favorite tricks are, and you will soon find out that tricks are not, I'm not their favorite. So, but we'll get into that later. But yeah.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
You are right. We are definitely gonna ask that, but that is okay. Like,
Yeah.
floor tricks can be favorite tricks too. I'm still excited to hear your answer.
Yep.
Right? Right. This is actually when we usually ask about what your favorite pole dance style is. So maybe that will lead into why tricks are not.
Yeah, so my favorite pole dance style is really sensual, sultry, seductive, kind of club-like, but more not so fast and loud. I like to describe it like dancing like incense smoke or like the pour of a drink, you know, something very upscale and just alluring, but distracting, you know? So like it's not taking the entire attention of the room, but you can't stop looking over there. That style, you know, floor work all the way. I love illusion tricks. I love long legs, shoulder stands, all that stuff. Yeah.
That sounds so fun. I love how you used, I don't even know if it's called a metaphor, analogy of pour a drink and like incense smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. One of our instructors, Daisy, whenever I see a video of her, I'm just like, you don't look real. Like I want to dance how she dances. And she looks like incense smoke all the time. Like she just looks like she's in her own world, just floating around, and it's so captivating. So Daisy M. So if you go on the bar's Instagram, she's our fiery little redhead, curly Q, but she is hot to trot. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And we'll have Instagram links all in the captions and notes, y'all. So make sure you check that out. Check out their Instagram and everything. We have to put it.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
when did you start teaching?
So I started teaching, oh man, I think it was either 2016 or 2017. How it happened was I became friends with Tobin and the other co-owner at that time, and we would go out a lot. And at the club, I would twerk. That's what I would do. And they asked me, teach us how to do this, teach us how to do this. And I was like, okay. And it became this kind of joke until one day I saw my name on the schedule and I was like, wait a minute. And they're like, everyone's asking. They want to know, and they want to know how to twerk. So I initially got into this by teaching a twerk class once a week, unexpectedly. It was called Booty Build Up. So it was like a booty circuit of, you know, lunges and all that, and the rest was choreography based with 101 ways to twerk, which you can imagine scrambles the hell out of your brain after you do that for some years. And then how did I get into pole teaching? Tobin actually was pregnant with her second son, and she had a pole 1 class on Wednesdays, and believe it was Wednesdays. And she's like, okay, I'm approaching my due date. Can you take this over for me momentarily? I will be back. She's like, I know they say 6 weeks, but us polars, we're, you know, we got abs of steel. She goes, I don't think it'll be that long. Well, I just taught pole 1 yesterday, which was Wednesday. And I think her second son is 8 years old. So she never took it back. And that's how I found my way. And I had those 2 classes ever since. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She trusted you to keep it. Now you're still teaching. That's incredible.
Yeah. You know, like it was working. People were showing up. Nobody was getting hurt. Like Why, why shake it up? It was working.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because it's work. I'm gonna have to check out your twerking. Oh.
I posted a story on my personal story on Tuesday. And because I don't teach twerk necessarily anymore. I pop it in here and there, but not a full twerk class. But on my personal Instagram on Tuesday, I was feeling myself a little bit and I posted a little snippet. So you are very timely, but sadly missed it. Yeah, but pay attention because it's in there. It'll pop up here and there.
I'll definitely have to. That sounds fun.
Yep.
Goodness. So when did you start making the transition from teaching to owning the bar?
Ownership.
Yes.
So that really happened overnight. So trying to think about how far back to go. I don't know. I kind of, since being in the space as a teacher, you kind of see your own, you kind of look at things and you're like, I like how this is done, or maybe I would do this differently, or it just kind of gets the wheels turning after a while. Like, what would I do in this case? Oh, it's the holidays are coming up. What specials would I, it just kind of gets your mind churning. So I kind of had thoughts here and there, and I would talk to them with Tobin, here and there as things went on. And then last year in March, Tobin was like, I'm going to change locations. I'm moving LPF to Millis. Yeah, she's like, I'm moving it to Millis, and she told all of us that, and I was on board there, and everything seemed, thumbs up, cool. And then when the students found out, some of them were like, oh, that drive is too far for me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to lose Pole. So the place that Tobin was vacating is the place where the bar is, because Tobin said to me, okay, you had some ideas about business and all that stuff. Would you want to take over the space that I'm leaving and open your own pole studio? She goes, it could be your own tax ID and all this stuff, so we don't have to get into all that craziness. She goes, but we could operate as like sister studios, and that way those students still have a place, and it's the best of both worlds, and we can share students and share instructors and all this stuff. So it kind of was like an LPF spinoff. And it really happened overnight. Like, I was laying in bed next to my partner, and he was in construction, and I was like, do you know how to do remodeling stuff? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I typed back to Tobin, okay. And then the next day I filed for an LLC. Like, it was really overnight. So it's really crazy. And I think I'm a Gemini, so I have to operate off of things like that. Like, I big decisions, I have to be impulsive. Like, I will commiserate over what I'm going to eat for dinner, but buying a house and opening a business, like, I do that in a blink of an eye, and I don't understand it. I think it's like the anxiety of fear of just jumping into that pool, and I just have to, when I feel the excitement over the idea, I have to pull the trigger in that moment. And that's exactly what happened with the bar. So yeah, I think I filed for the LLC like March 16th of 2023, and Tobin moved out of the space April 1st. I renovated it and restyled it for the bar in 30 days, and we opened on May 1st. So yeah, it was a big turnover, like a tight turnover, but yeah.
Wow. That's so amazing. I love also that you were, like you said, you're a Gemini and just able to go with the flow on this. Like, now I'm a teacher. Now I have a studio.
Yeah, okay, my name's on the schedule. I guess I'm teaching a class on Friday. Oh, Tobin's gonna go have a baby. Sure. Tobin's moving, and we have a couple people who can't drive to Millis. Okay, I'll open a whole business.
But it was necessary. Like, that was cool that you were able to have the time and space to do that.
Yeah, and what's cool is even, you know, we're a year into it, and of course you'll see that some of the shared students see what works better in their schedule and they become a regular at one space or another. But what's really cool is that didn't happen universally. We have students that you see in the bar's posts and then you see them in LPF's posts. We still have shared instructors, and it really is a, you know, collaboration going on, and a nice little relationship, nice little ecosystem is the word I'm looking for.
Okay, right, that's how it should be too. Thank you for bringing up that, you know, healthy competition is completely possible and should be the way.
Yeah, definitely should be the way, especially in the pole space, because I just feel that the people we meet and attract in the pole community have already faced kind of like adversity in their life, and have already been kind of on the outskirts or not considered normal or mainstream. So like, why have that kind of tension inside? You know, on our code of conduct for the bar, I was like, wear whatever you want. I was like, identify however you want. Just at the end, it just says, don't be a dick and have fun. Like, just show up and have fun. And that's it. Don't be rude to people. And we, fortunately, cross my fingers, we haven't had any issues. You know, everybody has been lovely and respectful, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm.
I love it. And you have certainly built a brand for your studio too, especially with that bathroom.
I know that. So what's funny is that bathroom. So, if anyone knows LPF, their brand colors are purple, pink, gray, white. The bar is black, white, this cool tone beige, and then we have the green curtains in the back. So neutral versus very colorful. So trying to take over that space, the bathroom was purple when LPF left, and the walls were the same, were her gray. So I was painting everything, and I had 30 days to do this. And when I looked at the bathroom, I was like, I don't want to pick up a paintbrush again. I'm like, I don't know what I would paint that, like, I don't know what color I would choose. And I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a crap ton of magazines. And because all of us are like, I want to be sexy, I want to be hot, I want to be, oh my God, like, boobs. Let's put boobs on the wall. So for those who don't know, the bathroom at the bar is covered in vintage Playboy centerfolds from 1960s all the way to early 2000s, which is kind of really cool to see how the style and the fashion changed and what was considered in versus not, and how that changed. But it was really an afterthought. It was an afterthought, and it was like, I am just so tired of renovating things. Let's just take some Mod Podge and just put it all over. And now we're holding photo shoots there. People are asking if I can create its own Instagram location pin, like not just the bar, but the bar bathroom. So yeah, I don't know. Some ideas, they really work out. It's the funniest.
It's a destination.
Yeah. Yeah. And the crazy thing is seeing people that I followed, that I didn't know were local to me. There have been a couple times this year where I'm just scrolling on my Instagram and I see that they've posted a picture and it is the bar's bathroom. And I was like, oh my God, they were in my space and they posted something like, finally got to this bathroom. And I was like, oh, they were looking for it. This is like, it makes you like fangirl in the best way. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so inspiring, and that's so awesome. I can't wait to see what else the future has for you.
Yeah, me too. A lot of this happened just organically, and the name of the bar was really inspired because of the location. So anyone who's been to the bar knows that the location is really, really weird, because the requirements for a pole space is not on every street corner. We need height and we need open-minded landlords, and the sort. So the bar is actually in a building that houses a landscaping company, right? So you see tractor trailers and plows and garage bays, like it looks like you're lost when you show up. So I was like, okay, this is obviously a weakness of this space. The location is really weird. So what else has a really weird location but is really cool? And I was like, bars, speakeasy bars. And we, you know, the pole being the bar, it's just vertical. And we all have heard of the Chrome Bar down in Tennessee. So I was like, okay, people have heard of that. It'll kind of, you know, it'll make the connection in their brain in a way. And it just worked out that way. And it has lended itself to such great puns for class names, like leading back to my favorite pole style being more of the dancey flow and floor work stuff. The regular structured, okay, let's do some conditioning, let's rep some tricks. Those classes are called old-fashioned pole, right? The drink and it's old-fashioned, you know, polling. Then, for instance, tonight we're debuting a new class called Nightcap. And that's a late night class. It's 10:30 to 11:30 for second shifters or people who are just night owls, and that's when they want to work out. So the bar really has offered just that theme, and that brand has done really, really well in terms of puns and making it fun. You know, we have something called the happy hour, which is a shot made of 1 part Google review, 1 part free class, right? So we have that going on. And then our point of sale system in-house, and I didn't ask for this when I set up all my back end stuff. What it does is it allows students to add items throughout the month, and it debits them in 1 whole transaction on the 1st of the month. So essentially, you can have a tab at the bar. You just go up and say, okay, I'm grabbing a water, I'm grabbing a bar, and you don't get cashed out until the 1st of the next month. That's just how it happened. And I was like, the bar has a tab? You can build a tab here? Like, stop it. Stop it.
That is so creative and so clever. That's amazing. It just goes to show like you can really like market and brand however you want. Just be creative and innovative. And the innovative things you're showing, thank you for being honest with it. Like and sharing that with us and teaching others about it.
Yeah. That's one thing that I think my studio would say is that I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't try to hide any of the snafus that happen behind the scenes of small business ownership. You know, like they've come in and I've been preparing a pole, and they've seen me covered in the grease that's inside the pole, and I'm just like, well, we're down a pole today, you know. And I said, oh, I broke a ceiling tile while we're at it. And instead of being like, oh, a ceiling tile is broken, I had a student be like, you know what, that should be the pole that everyone performs their very first climb on, and you should hide little grab bags of prizes in this ceiling. We have a drop ceiling. He was like, you should hide little prizes, so when they get to the top, they get a little grab bag. And I was like, do you want to be on R&D? Do you want to be our R&D director? So I incorporate them into everything, you know, that is a success, and everything that ends up to be a flop. Because what I tell them is I open this space for the community, and we're all sharing in this human experience, and whatever role we have in it is all equally important, right? Like, yes, we have staff here and you are the students, but there would be no bar without the students, and there would also be no bar without the instructors. Like, we are equally important, and we all just have our own role that creates this entire, you know, community that keeps it moving and keeps the fun going. So when something happens in my role and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but look at this, you know, people laugh with me, you know, because we're all on the same train and we're all enjoying it together. So
Right. Thank you for sharing that experience too, because it is hard, like running a studio, but you know, if you are open to everyone helping you, like they are there to help you.
Yes, and I shy away from being called out as the owner. If I'm in the studio and someone's teaching class, or if there's a newbie, I see someone being like, "Oh, this is where the towels go, and here's the bathroom," and I'm like, "Oh my God, they're gonna introduce me as the owner," and they always do, and I get super shy, and I'm like, "Yeah, I pay the rent and I take the trash out. Hi," like, and everyone's like, "No, own it," and I'm like, "I know, but like, hi." Like it's so like weird to me still, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I do this part of it, but like we have Sarah B as an instructor. So I was like, but she does these crazy tricks that like I can't do the things she does. So like look at her. You know, look over there. I got Sarah B. Yeah.
I love it. Right. It's so hard to own the ownership of it, but you're doing the thing.
Yeah, I'm doing the thing. But it's because I never thought of being a small business owner because it happened so quickly. It definitely is like, okay, I'm doing it, but like let me know if you like it, please. I'm still like that.
Me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're killing it with the bar studio, and I kind of want to know now about Apolethecary because you also do manage that as well.
Yes. So that actually happened just 3 months before I opened my own studio, 3, 4 months. And that was because I saw Sarah B developing this great brand, Bee's Knees knee pads. And I was like, oh, wow, we can, you know, like you're making something from scratch from your own brain, and you're figuring out how to do this because you didn't like something that is affecting your pole life, and you're figuring out how to fix it. So when I say I don't like tricks, that is brought on because I didn't really like being covered in the heavy duty grip aids. They work for tricks, yes, but then the rest of your day you are stuck to your clothing, you are stuck to yourself. Like even if you take a shower, and I've used my salicylic acid face wash to try to get this stuff off of me, and it just seemed to never, you would get some of it, but I would still be laying in bed and I would feel like I don't want it like a dead spot where you could just feel, okay, it's smooth and like my hands stuck to myself still. So because of that, I stopped using the heavy duty grip aids, which then I was like, I'm not trying these crazy tricks. Like, no, thank you. Like they freak me out. I realized, this is a little segue. I realized that tricks are just not my thing. I have a handful that I can do. But I learned that even though I can do them, while I'm doing them, it's not like the funnest thing for me. You know, I get disoriented, or you get like nervous because this is dangerous. Even if I've done a trick a million times and I know how the lock and the hold feels and I know that I'm in it, I'm still like, I could break my neck. So it gives me anxiety, right? And especially if I'm competing and I have to do it in time with music, it's just never been a part of polling that has been the fun part for me. So in the past year or so, I've just come to the kind of realization that I think I want to be a floor work poler. I think I want to be base work and low flow and really focus on that aspect of pole. And I'll try the tricks on my own time. And get a picture, do it for the gram, you know, try to get a picture of something. But I don't think I'm going to force myself to throw it into any choreo or anything, because I just learned that, yeah, it's cool, but I'm not their favorite. They don't the tricks don't want to love me back, you know? So that's where the tricks land. And that's because I didn't put the grip aid on anymore because I didn't want to deal with the after. So that eventually got me thinking, okay, I'm not the only one dealing with this like leftover stick that never ends. we have all these grips, so I don't want to make a grip, but we don't have a grip remover. So I have a chemistry degree. So I went home and I was like, let me see if I can find something that can remove all of the grip, no matter what it is. And something that is like shelf stable and, you know, transportable, portable. And I got lucky because I've now ventured into other products in Apolethecary, and I have not been so lucky at formulation. But I got lucky on the very first try with Antidote, which is our grip remover. And that one worked right out of the gate. And I was like, how do I wash people without washing people? And so the active ingredient in Antidote is hospital grade, no rinse body wash. But I've combined it with other items like oils, and there's some grittiness in this because I'm like, okay, you need something that can scrub, you need something that's acidic, you need something that's oily, because what I've learned in chemistry is like dissolves like. So if you have an oil on, you use an oil off. If you have something, you know, that's water-based, you use water. Like dissolves like. So I'm like, okay, sticky, scrub. Citric acid will break this down. So I was like, let me throw something for every category and mix this all together. And it basically forms this lotion. And you put it on and it dissolves the grip right off of you, and it moisturizes you. So it really is wonderful. I love it, not just because I made it, but it's great for like the times where you're like, okay, I've just pulled, but now I'm going out to dinner, and I gotta put on my jeans, or I smell, because pole is hard, I smell. This has it's scented eucalyptus. So it's refreshing. It doesn't substitute a shower though, but it will help you get through the rest of your night. But so that is what launched Apolethecary, and I named it that because I really love old vintage things, and I love apothecaries and the chemistry background. I was like, okay, I can do a play on words, and I was like, Apolethecary. So that is our rock star product. Other things in the suite that we have Elixir, which is basically a natural based muscle rub. It's a rollerball application. It's a small rollerball, so like you can get into like the little knuckles right here in your hands. And it's menthol based, and it's all things to help you massage into your small knots that we get in all these joints and stuff with what we're doing. That was our second product. Our third is Remedy, which is trying to remember, I get them all in front of me, which is a topical numbing spray. So it's not going to completely, you know, numb you up, but it takes the edge off enough. Because as we all know, when you're first starting, if you can remember how painful a seat was, I don't know about you, but I would jump off and like fan my inner thighs, right? And a lot of the times, these tricks and your technique and your form is compromised because you can't endure the bite of the desensitization that you just need to, you know, condition yourself to have. So Remedy is a topical spray. It's rubbing alcohol based, so it's not going to compromise your grip, but it does take the edge off a little. You're still going to feel it, but it's not going to bite you as bad. And then the last one that we have for sale right now is called Prime. That one is a glycerin based body prep. So it gives you a little grippiness, a little tackiness, but I'm not calling it a grip because you have to put it on like an hour before pole. It has to get absorbed into your body. If you remember, the Body Shop had those body sorbets. They were glycerin based. I know in the pole world, we've all heard of those. They were glycerin based, and it's a moisturizer, and you put it on, and it moisturized you, but your skin had a little tackiness to it. So that's what this does. And it's rose water, vodka, and glycerin. So it's simple. The last one that I'm trying to work on, which is like the bane of my existence, is potion, which is a lotion. But I want it to have menthol, arnica, Epsom, all that good stuff. I don't want it just to be a moisturizer. I want it to have like healing properties. But getting all of those things in their various forms to all mix together and stay mixed at the right consistency, that's been a challenge. So that one is hopefully coming up soon, but I'm still working on batching that up to make it work correctly. But yeah, I don't have an antidote with me, but I have a prime here. So they're cute little bottles. I want them to be like aesthetic. This one is it's like an eyedropper. Just put it in your hand. I wanted, because I'm playing on Apothecary, I wanted it to be old medicinal bottle looking items. So yeah. And what's funny is the color scheme of Apothecary is also black, beige, and green, which I didn't realize when I started branding the bar. It was the same colors until B pointed it out. She goes, "Bro, it's the same thing." And I was like, perfect, that's great. And I'm like, I guess I like what I like. And it lended itself well when just a few months ago, I just consolidated everything into one shop, one place, one-stop shop where you can buy memberships and Apothecary stuff, because I couldn't maintain bar shop and something way over here for Apothecary. It was too much. So yeah, that's how that came up. It was all because I didn't want to do tricks, because I didn't want to put the crazy grip aid on. Maybe that was an excuse, because now I've learned that I just don't like tricks, but nonetheless, it brought this product to market. So yep.
Yes, thank you for sharing all that. That's so incredible that you took like what you went to school with and like Sarah B's found the need in the community and
Yeah.
how do you say, the solution for that need.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna have to try it.
Oh my gosh, the one for that makes, I like how you use the word bite too, because like I think I'm gonna start using that word because it's like not a pain, it's a bite.
Bite. It's just a bite. Yep. Bite. I tell that to everyone because my newbies, they are shocked at how uncomfortable some of the stuff is. So I'm like, yes, this will bite until it doesn't, but by the time it stops biting, you would have found something else that bites you harder. Like it's just what happens here. So
But I love that it's a tool that will help you to like you said, because you can't train those things all the time if it's, making you feel terrible.
like how can you ever get into the right form if it's the pain is forcing you to bail out, like, yeah, you're still going to have to keep repping it and still going through it. But if you could take a little bit of the edge off so you can make sure that you are in the right shape, in the right space, why not? But the trick with that, because when you look at lidocaine creams and sprays, they are all lotion based. They all have a cream component. So I was like, if you're doing something that is biting you, that means you are squeezing, which means you need gripability. So I needed to find something that could help, that could work as a topical numbing agent that could be dissolved in rubbing alcohol. So it's not going to make you slippery. And yeah, that's what we got. I found one.
Yay, the pole industry is so lucky to have your brain.
I'm trying. And lotion, when people start, like, I'm going to do a cosmetic thing, the first thing they make is lotion. And I don't know why that is like not happening for me. But I found in a thrift store, a home apothecary book. And in there it says how to make lotions. And I was like, $3? Yes, please. Because it's all like, make lotions using natural stuff. And I was like, please tell me. Yep. And yeah, natural stuff to jump back to Antidote. It has all those stick removing and cleansing agents, but it also has arnica and Epsom salt and vitamin E and all this good good for your skin is what I'm trying to say, items, you know, to not only like cleanse it, but also to help with the bruising and help with any irritation. So it's amazing that I got all that to kind of work together and become a solidified solution.
Right. And what was the one that you put on after to get it all off? Like if you have to go back to work after pole class?
That one's called Antidote.
Antidote.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. That one sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
Something that I need.
Yeah, that one's called Antidote. And all this is available on the bar's website, with the exception of Remedy, because I had to take it off because I flagged it as a pharmaceutical because I put numbing in the title. So I want to put it back with better word choice, so their you know, their robot doesn't catch it. But I wanted to take it down for enough time so my account isn't like being the heat comes off me, so I can put it back up and be like desensitized. I don't know, whatever word I have to say. But if you're interested in that, you can just email the bar or DM the bar on Instagram, because I can send them out. You just can't purchase it directly because I got in trouble.
Man, so many things to deal with.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I was like, but it's not, all the things that are in it, I bought over the counter. So it's not a pharmaceutical. And they're like, but you can't, they're like, it says numbing. And I was like, right, because the active ingredient is a numbing agent that I bought over the counter. And they're like, but, and I was like, fine. I'm like, I'll take it off, and I'll just wait and put it back up as something coated. Yeah. The hoops you have to jump through.
Oh my gosh.
Comments and captions, y'all. If you want to check out those products from Apolethecary, check out the links and comments.
Mhm.
Yes.
Antidote was named because one of my other instructors, Veronica, also known as V, she is in the process of creating sticky V's, which is a natural grip aid, and she wants different strengths. She's looking at skin toners, natural grip aids, and the strongest grip aid, she told me before I made my grip remover, is going to be called Venom. So I was like, okay, Venom, meet Antidote. So be on the lookout for that. I know she has kind of hit some development woes with it. It's challenging to get an all-natural grip aid, but she is in the throes of it, and she is also a licensed esthetician, so she knows all about skincare and what to put on and what not to put on, and how all these other ingredients that say that they're natural or whatever can actually be harmful. So because of her knowledge, it's making her life more difficult because of what she knows. But sticky V's, sometime soon, we'll see. They're TBD.
Hell yeah. So many pole entrepreneurs out in your area. What's going on? What are you guys drinking out there?
We were all inspired by B, you know? And I remember the two of them talking, where B was talking to V, and V was like, I want an all-natural grip aid because there's butane in this. And she went on a rant about all this stuff. And I'm listening to this, and I was like, well, I want to make something. And then I was thinking, what can I make? And here we are.
I love that. That's so inspiring. And if you don't know who she's talking about, Sarah B of Bee's Knees, we have interviewed her. Check out her episode as well, and then you'll get to know who she's talking about, who's inspiring everyone. And now you're inspiring everyone too. It just like goes along the chain.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's a super pay it forward is what I feel like. And that's what I see across the board with everybody in the pole community. You know, I see so many people who are trying to spark inspiration and lead the way, or hold someone's hand who's leading the way. And I love it. I love it. And, you know, that again is why I dove into business ownership and on both of these fronts, you know, because I'm like, these are people who care, you know, like, one of the things I'm working on now is I want the bar to have a signature fragrance. So I have the first draft of a bar candle set up, and I'm soliciting feedback on it in exchange for raffle tickets to use at our anniversary party. So I was like, fill out the form, tell me what you think, and you'll get a ticket for our party that's happening on the 11th. Because I want people's feedback, and I want them to feel that they contributed and had a say, and, you know, not just see like, oh, here's another piece of merch, here's another retail item. I want them to be like, oh my God, I told her that I think this note would be really good in there, and now I smell it, and like now I can own this candle that like I helped create and smells like my favorite third place, you know. So I want that in all the ways I can make that. Plus, living over a landscaping business, I need a signature fragrance that is strong. I need to drown that fragrance out of the leaves and their gas-powered engines. And I'm trying my best, but I'm trying to do it in the funnest way. Yep.
I love it. The creative solutions.
So much going on business-wise for you.
I
That's
know.
exciting. Good for
I
you.
know. Yeah, I knew owning a business was going to require more than teaching, of course, but I was like, I didn't know I was going to be a product creator, an accountant, a maintenance man, social media manager, like all the hats.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so fun because you get it's your idea, and you get to do what you want, you know. And yeah, it's scary because it could flop, but I think it's a low risk, you know. If you have an idea that doesn't pan out, like, you tried it. And one thing I tell people, because we have a lot of events and workshops, because the space is 2,400 square feet. We have 6 poles on one side, but we have the other half of the space is like an open dance floor. So we do offer professional dancing, adult dance, like heels, jazz, contemporary, because we have the space for it. But I have access to that space 24/7. So I also hold events there, and I ask people, what do you want? I call it the bar exploration series. So I was like, what do you want? What's a thing that you've always been interested in but can't find something mainstream, or you either feel uncomfortable seeking it out in normal channels? Like what are those things? We have a private space. So that just builds the community more, and it keeps me on my toes, and there's always something new. And I tell people the answer is always yes, you know. Try it. If it doesn't work, then you learn something, but you know, you wouldn't know unless it took off, you know. A good example of that is we have a class on Monday nights called Full Bodied Chardonnay, and that is targeted towards those people who watch Pole and tell themselves, oh, I don't have upper body strength, or I don't have the body for Pole, or I'm not flexible, or I could never do that. It's for people who say those things to themselves, and it's a space for us to be like, no, we're going to show you that you can. And I was like, I don't know, like, if we have an audience for this, but let's put it on and see. And it's become one of our most successful classes because it bridges that gap and that anxiety barrier that a lot of people who are interested but are timid about it, they have their own kind of nice entry point, where they're not seeing crazy Aishas, and, you know, they're not, you know, feeling like, oh, I have to put on heels, everyone's in heels. No, it's really guided and really suited to the individual to be like, no, 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 we're catering to you to show you that you can do this. So the answer is always yes at the bar. Unless, you know, I say if it's not hurting anybody or it's not illegal, the answer is yes.
Well, I was wondering if you had any advice to any other pole entrepreneurs that were looking to get into something interesting or time consuming.
Yeah,
Or...
I would say look for the why first, or the what problem are you solving? Because without that, you can easily spin your wheels or create something that nobody really has a need for. So you don't want your time to be, you know, in vain. So really identify the problem that you're solving, and don't be afraid to ask people and source their feedback and test things on them. You know, when Antidote first came out, when it first came out, I thought it was going to be in a spray, because part of the creation is I have to heat things together to make them come together. So it becomes a liquid. At one point it's a liquid. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be a spray, and then you're going to wipe it off. I let that sit for a couple days, and it turned into this lotion. It just solidified. So the spray bottles I gave out as testers are now dead in the water, you know, but that's what I learned. And I wouldn't have learned that if I didn't give out the spray bottles, you know. And don't be afraid to expose every single part of the process, because even if you feel it's ugly or not ideal, the customer is actually going to appreciate that insight and seeing what it takes to go into the product that they're making, that it's not something that's just mass manufactured and mass produced without any thought. They'll see that, oh, this person, you know, my feedback was incorporated. I know I keep bringing up B, but B, when she has a new knee pad, like she just launched 2.0s, when those came out, she would teach her class, and then after class, she's like, can somebody volunteer a knee for me? Because I need to test the fit of these, you know? And she's not scared to expose that part of it or use her resources around us, because your instructors and your fellow students are your market. So use them. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that advice. And especially the part about the spray bottles and like not being afraid to like fail, because like you didn't know and it wasn't bad.
And I just had something related to this too. Now, Antidote is almost a year and a half old, but I've been hand mixing it by hand. I now have a hand mixer. So I was like, I'm going to use it in the hair mixer. So I use my hand mixer now to combine it. And I was like, oh, it looks so much smoother. It looks better. But I found out that it whips air into it like a meringue. And then it just kind of collapses in the packaging over time. So I didn't know this until somebody bought a Antidote in-house and opened it. And they're like, it doesn't look right. Because I have a protective seal. When I package them, I have a protective seal. So I didn't know. I made it and I was like, oh, I work smarter. And it bit me in the ass. So I took that whole batch, redid it, and I had to troubleshoot because they're also under a light for my merch display. So I was like, did the light do it? Did this? And I found out it was the hand mixer whipping air. So in that same week, I had a couple orders go out that I used from that same batch. So I shipped those out. They didn't reach out and say anything was wrong with them, but just because I care about the quality of my product, I was like, hey, I discovered this. I'm going to send you another one. That is how it's supposed to be. But don't be afraid to fail, because people pay attention to how you recover more than the failure. Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask now, do you have a favorite low pole trick or do you have a pole nemesis?
My favorite low pole trick, my favorite floor work trick is a floor jade. My favorite trick on the pole, that I put it in everything, is a stargazer to a cross knee drop. Because if I'm in that knee, there have been routines where if I know I'm in that knee, I will like hop like this on the pole and literally kick my back foot like a pendulum to drop me and make it really dynamic. If I'm in that knee and I know I'm solid, we're doing it. But my nemesis, which is crazy, everyone's eyes are gonna go big, is leg hangs, no-handed leg hangs. We know that that is such a checkpoint move for everything else. And that has been my nemesis forever. I can get my knee on, but I just don't feel the rib, the arm. I don't feel that connection. And it just freaks me out. And now I've gone too far in the "this move hates me" timeline, that it's just, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not trying to take my hands off anymore. Like, and at this point, 10 years ago, a leg hang was the trick shot, right? But now it's become a transition to other things. So I'm just like, you know what? Nobody's really, it's grown so much and we've created so many more moves that nobody's really hitting their leg hang as their trick moment. They're passing through it. So fuck trying to take my hands off. I'm going to hook the leg and tell me where the fuck to go. My hands are staying on, and let's just move through this as quick as we can, because I give up. So yep, it is the leg hang. I feel closer in my inside leg, which also most people are like, what the hell's wrong with you when you say that? I feel closer there, but the bite there is worse. But the outside, I don't know. It could just be my anatomy because I'm hippie. Maybe my hip keeps my knee angle. I don't know what it is. I've tried to dissect it a million ways over. That's my nemesis. It will forever be my nemesis. And it's called the Gemini. And I can't do it. You know how shitty that feels?
No.
Yep. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
Oh, thank you for that honesty. And you're certainly not alone. There's other people who definitely have issues with the leg hook, or I call it the leg hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just seems to show you that you can't make it one of those like moves to move on to a different level. It's just
Right.
not everything is for everyone.
Yeah. And I tell that to people too. I say, you know, your anatomy plays a big role in what you're able to do here. And that doesn't mean that you can't do things here. It just means that some moves will be harder for you. But other moves, like I have thighs. I can do a layback forever, okay? And Sarah B, again, name drop, laybacks freak her out. And if you watch what that girl can do, you're like, that freaks you out? But she's not a fan of it. She's not a fan of it. But for me, I'm like, I'm here all day because I've got thighs, you know? So I tell my students that. I'm like, you'll see things that may work better on others. Doesn't mean you can't get them, but they're going to be more challenging for you, just depending on how your body is made up, and how you're built. And I say every movement is valid. Every movement's valid. And it's all about moving your body in a way that feels right to you. And I could tell my students, if I could dissect every single muscle fiber that I use and give them that entire step-by-step on how to do something, and if they could consume it and spit out that same formula, it would still look different because they're a different person. So I tell them that, like, you can see how it looks on me and be like, oh my God, like, I want it. It's not going to look like that. It's going to look how it looks on you, and how it looks on you is just as great. It's just different. So.
Love it.
For sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I was also wondering, because you said that you didn't like to use hand and body grips, but do you use them at all?
I do use them now. Now that I have Antidote, they're my friends again. I use them now. And I like to make little jokes in class. Like, I took class on Tuesday, and it's a trick class because I want to challenge myself and still try to do things. So I covered myself in grip. And then right after that class is a floorwork class. And the instruction was put on leggings if you have them, because we're going to spin on our butt and your butt can get stuck on the ground, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, if only I had something that could get this grip off. Yeah, little plugs for myself here and there. But yeah, it makes it's all fun.
Love it.
Yeah. But now the grips that I use, it's crazy because I was dry hands and dew point all the way. Now I'm really ITAC and Grip It, which is a rosin spray, which I heard about from, I went to New Orleans this fall, and we hit up a strip club over there, and one of the girls was using that, and I was like, oh my God, I never saw that grip. And I sprayed a little on my hand, and it's good. It's good.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a spray one, and it does, like, if you just do a quick little spritz on your hand, it is enough to like make spins challenging, like stick you in a spin. So it's got you. It's got you.
Nice. I love it. I think we went through all of those questions. Oh, do you have any free time?
I mean, no. No. I work a regular job, 9 to 5, as a technical writer for a software company. And fortunately, because that is all tech related in front of a screen, I can do a little bit of this and then turn over here and do a little bit of that. And it allows me to balance that throughout my workday. I teach Wednesdays and Fridays. And most owners teach more. But I was fortunate that when I opened, we had these shared instructors that already had, like, Tuesdays with B has been a thing for years. So Tuesdays with B, here we go. And they just kind of carried over, and the schedule kind of filled itself. And I'm okay with it because we have a nice diverse spread. And also, you don't want to beat your body up like that. You need rest. So yes, I'm not there on Monday nights or Thursday nights, but here at home, I have 3 cats and 2 dogs. So, like, no, I don't really have free time. Yep, it's wild. It's wild, but you find it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like, people with children, like that addition, that would tip my card over. I have no idea. I have no idea how all that would exist. Yep.
Like, that leads us into the question that we ask about where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, in 5 years. Honestly, I want to say the same. Not that I don't want growth, but I just feel like I want what I have. I just want it to prosper. But I want the routine and the regular days I kind of expect them to stay the same. And I just see the bar growing and Apolethecary growing, and, you know, my regular job, that necessary evil that we all have. Yeah, but it's nice. It's a nice setup, you know? So not to say that I don't have goals, but I like what I got, and I just want more of it, you know? Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get more of it.
Yeah.
Thanks. And last, any nutrition? Do you think nutrition and pole are important?
I do, but I am definitely in the treat yourself camp, right? I don't restrict and be like, you know, I don't meal prep and do anything to that extreme. I call it mindful eating, right? So if I know I have something, if I indulge myself and I have, you know, something that's greasy or cheesy or whatever it may be, then I'm like, okay, I have to go a little bit lighter for the remainder of the day. I got to be mindful of that. So just be mindful of the day as a big picture, and try not to chain pizza, taco, burger, like try not to do that. But I don't count calories. I don't do all that. I don't host, you know, fitness challenges or weight loss challenges, because I see that it's important for health, but I don't see it as important for pole, because you can do everything at every size. And I just think a lot of exercise communities, fitness-based things, focus on food. And I just look at the world and I'm like, look, we're all just trying to make our bills. We're all trying to do something that sparks joy and makes us happy. And life is hard enough. If you want a fucking ice cream, get a fucking ice cream. Like, it is not the end of the world. Don't make it the end of the world, you know? So mindful eating, but treat yourself. And don't subscribe to cheat days. Treat yourself. Just not everything can be a treat, because then how is it a treat? Right? Like, for example, I was talking to our instructor V on Tuesday, and I was like, oh, I'm so hungry. And she's like, I'm gonna go fucking crush some chicken tenders. And I was like, well, I ate like crap earlier today, and I ate everything I fucking wanted. So tonight I'm gonna have a salad, but it's gonna be covered in dressing, you know? And for me, my salads are, the salad is the bed, is the vessel for the toppings to live upon. So my salads are loaded, okay? So they're not the typical, like, I say it loosely. Salad is a loose term, right? Like, it'll be loaded with vegetables, but there's cheese on it. There's cheese on it.
Wait, my salads are usually like a bucket as well.
Yeah. The lettuce is just a vessel for the other things to get to my mouth. You know, and that is my salad. Buffalo chicken and some cheese on top. Like, I'm eating my lettuce, right?
The lettuce is there to assist in the digestion of the rest of the salad.
Right. So yeah, and I think it's good to keep a balance of that and not let yourself get too hung up on the unhealthy side of fitness and food relationships. And it's not needed in pole. I don't think it's needed. I mean, yes, I understand competitive bodybuilding, but your muscles will grow, and you know what your muscles need to grow? Fucking food. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I guess, do you have any things that are upcoming at the studio that you want to promote in June? Because that's when this will air.
June, I know we are having a hip hop evening with a tag team instructor team. So it's a nice hip hop intensive. Then I have been asked in March, we did a March bingo, and one of the bingo squares was submit an idea that you want to see done at the bar. And I got, basically the only ideas I got were like a sleepover theme. So I want to do kind of like a sleepaway summerween night, because I love Halloween. So I'm thinking like everybody like shows up in PJs and popcorn and projector, and we put on like some movie, like something like that. And I'm thinking June would be a good time for that. Still flushing out ideas, because May 11th is our 1-year party. So that's where my brain is right now. But once that passes, then I think I'm looking at a sleepaway camp themed kind of night thing. And as always, we have a recurring event called Puffin it changes. It was puff and paint, then it was puff and craft, and puff and pot. It's depending on what the craft is of the night. And it's exactly what you think. We supply art supplies. We get a little lit, and we just get creative with it. And those have been our most successful events. Yeah, so that will probably be making a reemergence. We don't have one planned for May. We usually do it every other month for puffin something. But in the past year, we've done 24 events, which is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to think that regular job, classes, maintenance, 24 event, like, it's just wild.
I was gonna say, when I heard that it was like your 1 year anniversary, I was like, just 1 year?
Yeah, I mean, for how established and smooth running it is, it's not representative of 1 year small business. But what it feels like 6 months. I'm like, how did we get here so fast? 1 year already? But yeah, I really got lucky. And quite honestly, if the opportunity wasn't set up the way it was, where it was a space that was already familiar as a pole studio and students already being like, I want to continue to go over here, I don't think I would have opened a studio from the ground up. I was fortunate that I already had staff and student exposure. Now, granted, there is slow moments. It's the first year, but I got really lucky in the environment that it allowed me to establish it, and it's very not common. Yep.
Well, again, congratulations for all your hard work. It's
Thank you so much.
amazing. It's not just a pole studio, it's like a whole mall of amazing.
Yeah, it really is. We got a food court, we got a microwave and a fridge. We've got bees knee pads there. We've got, we got merch. We got apothecary section, and then you can go dance on a pole over here, or you can go dance on the floor over here, or grab a yoga class, and then if you're there on a Friday night, you can do something completely different. Yeah, it's a mall. It's a mall. It's a dancing mall.
I love it.
Well, awesome.
Well, I think, Cris, that was all the questions I had to ask.
Yes, the link for everything that you send us will be in the notes, the comments, your bio as well. So
Awesome.
everybody who's listening or watching, make sure you check them out. The link, the website, all the products. Goodness, so much to check out. So
yeah, it's a lot.
Yes.
It's so exciting. I can't wait to see where the future holds for you. Maybe we'll have to do a Where Are They Now episode.
I know.
Not maybe, that is our goal in the
we will.
future.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, until then, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in to listen to or watch this episode of Pole on the Call podcast. My name is Mændy Mac.
I am Cris Rivers. Let me pick up my heels. Whee!
And I am Looch. You can't hear it. Looch from the bar.
Yes, and apothecary and all of it.
Yep.
What do they call it? Triple threat.
Yes.
Triple threat from the floor.
Love it.